Fridays the first. I'm your host, Parker. Over here on the right, I have Caden. Caden, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. On my left, Paxton. Paxton, how are you?
Good. What about you?
Living life. Over there on the audio and controlling all the cool tech stuff, we got Mr. Parson himself. Mr. Parson, how are you?
Doing well.
It's good. Shirley, how about you?
Good.
Or Landon. No one really calls him Landon, so we'll call him Shirley on here most of the time. On today's episode, we got quite a good amount of topics, which are going to be talking about AI and its benefits and suicide and how it could help doctors, and the NFL and reffing and if it's scripted or not. But before that, we're going to take it over to Shirley for the week update. What happened this week, Shirley?
Okay, so on Monday, the girls had basketball here at home versus Louisville, and it was a 65-30 win. On Tuesday, there was a boys basketball at Fort Calhoun. The boys did lose 42-55, but it was still a good game. Wednesday, there was nothing. Thursday, there was girls basketball versus Fort Calhoun. They did win 54-29. The girls had wrestling at Wisner, and they won 66-0. So good job, girls, for sweeping them. And then the boys had a triangular against Pender, and they came up on top with 44-36 against Pender, and then 48-33 against Wisner. So good job, boys. And then on Saturday, and tonight, on Friday, the boys have basketball at Syracuse, and then Saturday, the boys wrestling go to Boone Central.
Perfect. Anybody going to Syracuse tonight? Watch basketball?
I'll be working.
I thought about it, and then I was like, I don't really feel like driving an hour and a half.
And also to throw in there, on Saturday, the boys are playing in the consolation round of the conference tournament. Saturday, the girls will be playing, ended up being UTAN. UTAN had a little competition. They were the number 1 seed, and Raymond Central was the number 4 seed on the girls' side of the conference tournament. Raymond Central led at halftime, and then at the end of the game, it went to overtime, and UTAN ended up winning by 7. So the girls will take on UTAN in the conference championship on Saturday.
Where do the girls play? Do they play?
Everything is at Fort Calhoun.
It is at Fort.
Fort Calhoun will host the the third place girls, then it'll be third place boys, and then it will be championship girls, championship boys, all hosted at Fort Calhoun.
Gotcha. And they play at 4 on Saturday, correct?
I believe that's correct. It's like a 1 o'clock start for the first consolation game, and then like 1, 2:30, 4, and then I think it's like a 5:30 game for the boys championship. But I believe if you are not watching that is going to, or if you're not going, it's going to be on the Huddle Focus. So fan.huddle.com. If you can go and find Fort Calhoun's, that's where it'll be.
If not, better see you there. Today's first topic, AI and suicide. We're going to take it over to Caden to introduce this topic.
PBS says suicide is a very large issue and that AI could help. They say this, or use evidence to show by saying researchers out of Florida State University have developed a tool it says can predict potential suicides using AI. The new technology has the potential to predict suicides up to 2 years in advance with 80% accuracy. How? FSU researchers analyzed a data repository containing the health records of roughly 2 million patients and identified more than 3,200 individuals who had attempted suicide. Machine learning took over created a special algorithm that methodically learned to recognize the various risk factors leading up to suicide. The machine learns the optimal combination of risk factors, FSU psychologist researcher Jessica Ribeiro told the FSU News. What really matters is how this algorithm and these variables interact with one another as a whole. This kind of work lets us apply algorithms that can consider hundreds of data points in someone's medical record and potentially reduce them to clinically meaningful information. The prediction accuracy also intensifies as risk factors intensify, where accuracy could climb to 92% at least 1 week before a suicide attempt when the AI centers on hospital patients. This works by helping diagnose patients more accurately, improve clinical decision-making, and determine the effects of risk and protective factors on suicide. Why is this important? Suicide rates surged by 24% from 1999 to 2014, according to data provided by the National Center for Health Statistics. In 2014, more than 1 million adults self-reported a suicide attempt, with 9.4 million adults who also self-reported serious thoughts of suicide. For several years, as reported by tech magazine Wired, Facebook has continued to invest in similar AI tools, such as the social network's trained algorithm that flags posts concerning self-harm. Facebook already features a system where users can repost or report posts relating to self-harm, and a trained algorithm then recognizes similar posts. The social network is looking to expand other preventive measures in the near future, such as the ability to reach out to someone in need via live video stream, the magazine says. Ribeiro told FSU News that using machine learning to improve suicide prevention is only the beginning. What we have so far is promising, but it's just a start, she said. While these are not the only methods or the best ones, I think if more researchers focus on this approach, we can finally see meaningful declines in the rates of suicidal behaviors and ultimately suicide deaths on a global scale. It's not that far off. This was all from a PBS News report, and yeah.
So I found this article. It's from the CDC. It's about the factors that actually contribute to the risk of suicide. And so I'm just curious how the AI does this. But so like some of these examples are if you have a history of depression and other mental illnesses, any sort of chronic pain, criminal or legal problems, substance abuse, stuff like that. And so do you know, is the AI does it check, find out why why they might be having suicidal thoughts, and that's how they use it to prevent, okay, you're having suicidal thoughts because you have depression, and so we're going to put you on an antidepressant, or do you know how it does that?
No. From this article, it didn't really say, but yeah, I'd assume it, there are seasonal depressions, so it could, factor that into the AI algorithm and just, I don't know.
I'm on a article right now, National Library of Medicine. It's kind of talking about how does it pick up on it. So, let's say it doesn't happen all the time, but in most cases, somebody kind of makes a post about it, I'm about to do such and such. It will pick up on that, and then it will either contact the authorities or send that person's device into a live video chat, or kind of like a chat box. And then it says in another case, the device will kind of overdrive and send it into a bunch of questions on what are you doing right now? What do you plan to do? When do you plan on going to sleep? Such and such. And it isn't it's not trying to, I shouldn't say, overtake your independence, but more or less it's kind of so watches over you, and make sure that that is something that does not happen. And that's even AI. I was going to say it's not very popular right now, but they're, like you said, they're Facebook, Twitter, all that's looking into it. The Facebook creator, he kind of put in his own word about it. He said that 700,000 deaths a year by suicide is something that we cannot have going into the future. I'm going to do my best to kind of control that number, if anything, lower it down to practically nothing. He also said that too many people are involved in online socials such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, that kind of
No way. You're telling me people are too involved in social media?
No kidding.
That's crazy.
I guess we're kind of doing it right now.
See, I think the crazy, or at least the most surprising fact to me is that I don't think that I've ever sat down and done the research until recently, but 700,000 people.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's think about that. There's people all around here that probably even maybe thinking about it and you don't even know it. And
Yeah.
I think AI being able to figure it out,
they're looking at those pieces, when on that CDC, it talked about individual risk factors, community relationship risk factors, societal things. If something can say, hey, I heard you post this. If you guys think about your friends, you hear them say something and you go, something's wrong. Where the average Joe is going to go, I heard her say, I don't want chicken, or something. And you're going, oh, but a friend, somebody that has more data on you, has more information on you, or can read your body language, goes, yeah, something's not right. Are you not okay today? He or she.
Yeah.
If AI is able to look at a lot of different factors and put those pieces together and say, well, okay, you posted this 2 weeks ago. Or in this study from Florida State University, right? You said? Yeah, in Florida State University, they're going, you took this test, and from those thousands of people that we did, or however many people they looked at, this was the outcome. Then maybe we're going to have everybody take this test at 15 years old. Or we would love to have a lot of people go through this type of study. And then we're going to address, hopefully,
the risk factor.
The risk. And then say, hey, maybe we can pick that out. I don't know. I think of it on a personal note. I'm going, yeah, I get it. I get it. I would love to have something that can quickly put data together to point out potential risk factors. Now, I don't think we need to go, Minority Report? If anybody's ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
Where they are predicting murders before they occur, predicting crimes before they occur. I don't know if I want to go that route.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's self-harm and there's something we can do about it, I would hope that we could. I hope that we would.
And I think that kind of brings us back to our topic last week. Yes, that AI is going to be beneficial, but they're not going to be able to tell, like he said, your friend loves chicken and they're not eating chicken out of nowhere. That's when we as people, we as leaders in our school and in our community need to be able to see our friends, yes, but even people that might not be our friends, the people who are just average Joes, or that's bad to say, but people who are just in our school that maybe we don't talk to every day, if we see them and we see them not, maybe being like themselves, like that we see all the other time, that's when we as people need to step up and be like, hey, I've seen you. Are you all right? Because that personal interaction, yes, that AI is nice.
It could save a life.
Yeah, the personal interaction that you'll have with that person is going to mean more to them than any sort of AI or robot that could possibly look in.
And we currently have a little bit of just red flag, I call red flag scenarios, here on our school, within our Google domain. Google domain, we'll talk about Google Docs, talk about your email, we'll talk about, Google Slides and this and that. We have a system here at the school we call BARC. It's in the background. It runs through. It looks for red flag scenarios. Oh. So it's not like we're trying to, I think some, of course, students, you would go, they're just trying to get me in trouble because I used this word and I sent this email to my buddy. But it's actually more of a, we see somebody that maybe doesn't put it into words, but yet they're going to send an email to their friend about negative feelings they're having. So it looks for self-harm type situations. It looks for
certain
profanity.
Stuff
it looks for
up.
Vulgar language and things like that. It's not as much your search. It's more about, we saw this, you posted this on a document. Now, a lot of the red flags come up if you're talking about suicide awareness and in Mr. Hart's class. And now all of a sudden you're researching suicide. This might, who knows, maybe this document will come up because we talked about suicide in it. So there are some of those logical things. But what that does is, like you said, Parker, it points us back to the personal side. Yeah. Like we as people still have to do some things. Like AI is going to help red flag some stuff, but then I'm going to go talk to Landon when his account was tagged with either profanity or self-harm discussion topics or something like that, and going, hey, are things okay? And now you got to make it personal. And that's where Mrs. Toft and Mrs. Fetty, the counselors here at our school, are aware of aware of those things. So those conversations will generate from there. So it's not about getting people in trouble. It's just about trying to stop the quiet kid that you don't understand, that maybe doesn't talk to many people, or maybe the loud kid. Who knows? But many times it's a situation where somebody that's verbalizing in a digital form that we can maybe have a deeper conversation with.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, if you are ever having any of those thoughts or somebody, it's not bad to say, hey, I know somebody who can help you. I know somebody that can help kind of guide you through everything. And I think that that's something that why the AI could be beneficial, like if it's an AI sort of like therapist, I guess you could say, because a lot of people are scared to have that physical interaction and see like, or like they're scared to be judged, and you could go to that robot and
Yeah, it doesn't look at you
I
any
do-
different.
yeah, like we said, it doesn't have that personal connection, but it's still, if it's a way to help you get your feelings out or whatever you are feeling, I still think that again could be extremely beneficial. All right, into our next topic, the NFL. Did you guys watch the rounds the last couple weeks?
Yep.
Yeah.
AFC Championship, Chiefs versus Ravens.
Yeah,
Who's everyone got in that?
I have to say the Chiefs.
See, I'm a Chiefs fan, so I got to go Chiefs. But
Yeah.
the way Lamar Jackson's been playing this year, I think he's kind of unstoppable at the moment. And the Ravens' defense is.
I'm not really like a big football person, but I'm more or less just there for like the food and stuff.
The social
But,
aspect.
Yeah, the social aspect. But I don't want to be that guy in the room. But I think I'd rather just bet on the Ravens winning this.
They look pretty solid.
Yeah.
They're
They looked real solid. I was and they defeated
Texans.
the
CJ
Texans, and
Stroud.
I thought the Texans played really well, but
Yeah.
the Texans could not get anything going
And that should
against that defense.
And that should tell you, because the way CJ Stroud and that Texans offense has been playing, like, you would have thought they were unstoppable until they go up against Ravens defense, which has got to be top 3 defense in the league. And they just, because it was, 10-10 at half, and then Ravens got on a roll,
Yeah,
31-10.
took off.
Yeah, and that's unstoppable. How about you guys, Shirley and Mr. Parson? Who you guys got?
I got the Ravens going all the way.
Because you like the Ravens or because you don't like the Chiefs?
I'm a Packers fan, but
They did good, though.
I think the Ravens are definitely the best team in the league right now.
Give Jordan Love a couple years and that whole offense to develop. They're going to be one of the best teams.
They had a great game against San Francisco. I
Yeah.
thought that was a very, very good game, and
Yeah, they
Well,
make
when
that
you're-
field goal.
he's, if you couldn't hear that, he said the kicker screwed us. But the idea was, it really is kind of weird though for so many teams that are out there. I saw somebody post this online that said, why? They asked the coach, what the coach say every time he goes out there. I pray. I pray. And so he said that, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a kicker out there you feel confident in.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope there's somebody somewhere, but maybe they're not as common. I mean,
I seen a post, I think yesterday, that we actually drafted Georgia's kicker. So, I mean, his confidence must have been at an all-time low. So, he just drafted someone new, which, I mean, the guy that we have now, he's got a leg. Like, he can hit 60-yarders, but he just,
Clutch situations.
it's just
The
a matter
pressure.
of time.
Yeah.
And who'd you say you have, Mr. Parson?
I'm gonna say Ravens. I just think I think the all around Chiefs have had the ups and downs and struggles this year.
Yeah.
So if they put it all together, I think they can. I mean, but it's gonna take an offensive output that's gonna blow them out of the water, or a defensive game plan that's gonna finally hold in Lamar. I don't know.
And again, like we said, that the Ravens defense is crazy. And so, like, I guess basically what you just said, either the Chiefs offense is going to have to be that much, like, on fire, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Because Ravens offense is still crazy good, don't get me wrong. But I think at the end of the day, it is who can score more points and put more points on the board. So, whoever can do that.
So what about the Lions and the Niners? We're gonna go quick here.
Niners. I don't think the Lions are gonna.
See, I think the Niners will pull it off, but I think without Deebo Samuel, and this is it still is about the Niners, but I think the Niners are not as good as they could be because Deebo Samuel's out, and I think Brock Purdy's extremely overrated because when you have the best defensive line on the team, surely I see you shaking your head. You'll get that. You'll get your talk in a minute, and then you have the best defensive line in the league. Don't get me wrong. Brock Purdy is one of a top quarterback for being the last drafted person, but you have the best defensive line. You have George Kittle, who's top 2, if not the best tight end in the league. You have Christian McCaffrey, who is undoubtedly the best running back in the league. If you have Deebo Samuel healthy, I'd say the Niners beat the Lions by 40. But I think that without Deebo Samuel, they only have a short pass game, and all the Lions have to do is shut that down. So, real quick, who you guys got? Who do you guys got?
I got the 49ers. Just because they beat us, I want them to go because then it looks the Packers look better. But I think Purdy is one of the better quarterbacks that we have in the league now. He's literally came from nothing, and look what he's done. You could have a great team and a horrible quarterback, and it doesn't do anything. He's literally the center of the team. So, I mean, you got to give him props
fair.
where props is due.
Paxton, who you got?
I don't know. I would go with the Lions on that one.
Just got to go.
Hopefully they come in clutch.
Jared
They
Goff's
need it. They
overrated.
really do need it. So
Yeah, they do. Lions Nation. All right. So next week we'll recap those games and talk about the Super Bowl and what's going on there, and we'll go to our next topic we didn't get to today, which is the NFL scripted. So
Well,
tune in.
we'll find out what's the script say. What's
Script!
No, not our script, but what do you think the
script
NFL script says?
It
NFL
says-
script.
This no local news station actually leaked it. It says Reba McEntire, Usher, and Post Malone are stated to perform at the San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl matchup on February 11th.
I think that's a good place to close today
Yeah.
because we're going to see if that actually occurs, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll see you next Friday on Fridays with First. Thank you.